15-year-old should not be consuming energy drinks. You don't need pre-workout to go on the chain in the gym when you're 15 years of age. You just show up and you train. And the second thing I want to address is the elephant in the room. Not literally, there isn't an elephant. It was energy cans, but is this guy natural? Coach Greg, today's video, another teenager, 15 years of age, he needs our help. He's 5'10" of 150 pounds of shredded muscle. And he writes, I've been lifting for 1 year. Any suggestions? And the first suggestion I like to read, because I thought this was funny, being an older guy, I'm 47 years of age. Yeah, clean up your energy drink cans. Sincerely, a dad. And so he's there checking out his quads, all shredded and so on, but what's with all the energy drinks? And the second thing I want to address is the elephant in the room. Not literally, there isn't an elephant. It was energy cans, but is this guy natural? I'm going to say there's more than a 50% chance that this kid, this 15-year-old, is not actually natural. I don't have proof. I don't know for sure. But for the most part, 99% of people that look this good at the age of 15, they're not natural. And so being a betting man, I would bet not natural. But I don't want you to go and write hate comments and say, you're not natural, you're not. I don't know. But if you're watching this, perhaps you're 15, 16, 17, whatever years of age, don't compare yourself to this guy. This is abnormally shredded and huge for a guy only 15 years of age. Way bigger, way more shredded than even I was at 15. And I started training at age 10 and I became a professional bodybuilder. I have amazing genetics. And so the fact that he has better genetics than me and only 15 looks like this, it makes me very suspicious. And so, any suggestions? Well, if you've watched any of my videos, what do you think I'm going to say? We have a 15-year-old with single-digit body fat. Do I tell anyone to try to maintain single-digit body fat? Of course not. And considering he's only 15, he's growing, perhaps going through puberty, do you really think you should be dieting down to get shredded? And let me guess, he wants to look like David Glade, Chris Bumstead, some other shredded Gymshark model. But don't forget, leaner does not make you better. And being this lean, it could in fact lower his testosterone levels. Guys trying to put on muscle, think of it, he's 15, he wants to get bigger, he wants to get better. But if you over-restrict calories, you diet and try to maintain single-digit body fat, it's going to be much harder to put on muscle. Now, I'm not saying he couldn't put on muscle. Clearly, he has so many newbie gains. He's only been training 1 year. He could do everything wrong and still put on muscle. And look at this guy's back. I mean, I do see some acne, and I understand he's 15. It could be just acne from going through puberty, but it does look very suspicious of the side effects of taking performance-enhancing drugs. Perhaps it's steroids, perhaps it's SARMs. And so my first piece of advice upon seeing this is if you are in fact taking anything that's not natural, please stop. You're so young, and trust me, if you start this young and you see the gains you're getting, of which these gains are amazing, 1 year of training, it's going to become addicting. You're going to want to continue making those gains. But if you stop now and don't keep doing it, you could in fact continue to build muscle. And why? Well, because when you're young, going through puberty, newbie gains and so on, if you stop taking what you're taking, you still have gains that can be made. Although not as quick, you could continue to put on muscle. And remember, I did in fact suggest that Alex Eubank was not natural in his teenage years. I don't have proof. It's what I personally think. I might be wrong. But if that is the case, that would explain why he's having such a difficult time putting on muscle now that he's in his early 20s. When if you're natural, you start training at 14, 15 years of age, you're going to continue to put on muscle for years. But once you take PDs and you make crazy gains, for example, if you put on 20 pounds of muscle in a year, if you stop taking that and only put on 2 or 3 pounds, you're going to be highly disappointed. And imagine if you go backwards. Imagine you put on 20 pounds of muscle and then you stop and then you lose some of it. Perhaps you lose half. You're going to hate training. You're not going to want to go to the gym. And many times people, they just end up quitting. And now that the first suggestion of stopping taking any performance-enhancing drugs out of the way, what could we now suggest? Well, seeing as you've watched any of my videos, you know that if you have single-digit body fat, that it means you should bulk. Of course, I'm not going to say you should cut. Did anyone think you should cut down and get even more shredded? I'm sure you didn't. Cutting, that's for people at 20% body fat or more. If you're overweight and or obese, my advice is to go on a slow deficit, to lose weight slowly, slower than last time. Allow your body fat levels to go down until you're healthy, not single digits. 15% body fat for most people. Get to 15%, stay there for a long time. And if you feel amazing, great, tons energy, yeah, you can continue to diet. Some people with great genetics, they can get that lean and still have tons of energy and make serious gains. But for most people, 15%, perhaps even 20% if you don't have great genetics, that is a body fat percentage that's healthy and you can continue to make gains. And so if you're above or below your genetic set point, which is great or ideal for you to put on muscle, you need to change your diet. And so for this guy, considering he's single digit body fat and only 15, he needs to eat more. If you don't offer the body the building blocks to put on muscle, you can have all the workers in the world. But if you don't have those building blocks, you can't actually build a muscle. And so oftentimes younger people or even older adults, they look at people on social media and they think, well, I want that physique. That's my dream physique. And so they over diet. They lower their testosterone levels and they're spinning their wheels. They can hardly put on any muscle, or in fact, they're losing it. Time to bulk up. Definition is good. Would look a lot better if you're 185. And so honestly, to me, that's a bit of a stretch. I'm not saying he should put on 30 pounds. He's 155 pounds at 5'10", age 15. How many kids are 5'10", 185 pounds of muscle? But he is in fact correct. He should go on a bulk, but instead of thinking 185, let's make it a realistic bulk. Let's say 170, 15 extra pounds, about 10% of his body weight. That is a lot of weight to gain. And so I would say continue to eat more. And when you're 170 pounds, perhaps at that point you could consider to main gain. I'm sure he would prefer to be leaner. I'm sure he has great genetics to be lean. And so I don't think we should bulk him up into 20+% body fat just to build muscle. If he gets to 15% or perhaps even less for this guy, I think that's plenty. Just lean bulk. You'll gain maybe a percentage or two in body fat, but still be lean. Whatever girl you bag isn't going to want to cuddle a bag of remotes. I mean, is that how 15-year-olds call bagging girls and having remotes? I mean, remote controls? Like, what? His response, that's true. The thing that really made it hard for me to bulk is being a multi-sport athlete, and it got to a point where 3,000 calories was my maintenance. I've been main gaining for a majority of the time I've been lifting. I mean, it's as if they've been training their whole life. I've been main gaining the majority of the time I've been lifting. He's been training for a year. He's saying, yeah, I get it, but I'm a multi-sport athlete. I'm doing all these sports. Perhaps he's playing football, basketball, whatever. But he's saying 3,000 calories is maintenance. So eat more. 3,500 calories. If you know you're eating 3,000 calories and you know that the lean bulk would help you, why are you not eating more? Is it really that hard? And if it is, don't buy my friggin' cookbook. Don't eat low-calorie dense foods. Eat the opposite. High-calorie dense foods. Things that have a lot of calories. Things that are higher in fat. Nuts, peanut butter, salmon, steak. It's not rocket science. Rather than eating watermelon, strawberries, they're so low in calories, have a banana. But to think that it's so hard to eat 3,000 calories because you're a multi-sport athlete. Do you know how much food people who do triathlons, Ironman training, cardiovascular athletes have to eat? Bodybuilders think they have it so hard. Oh, I have to force feed all these calories. I gotta get 4,000 calories, 3,500 calories. Do you know how much a cyclist in the Tour de France eats? They're skinny little guys, 6 foot tall, 150 pounds. Those are the large ones. They're eating 6,000 plus calories a day. They're on their bikes all day. And they can do it. Consider when I was a teenager, I was eating 5,000 calories a day, and I'm a 5'6" manlet, and I eat 5,000 calories. And so if I could eat 5,000 when I was your age, you most certainly could eat 3,000. And so stop making excuses not to do something and find excuses to do something. Say, yeah, I want to gain weight. I want to have more muscle. I'm going to eat more. It's not that hard. Is it really that hard to grab a couple tablespoons of peanut butter before bed? Just eat it out of the jar, go to sleep. You're going to put on muscle. Does anyone else hate when they see the 15-year-olds looking like grown men and wondering what they're doing with their lives? And so I certainly hope he's not taking anything, that he just has elite level genetics that allow him to put on this much muscle this quickly at only 15. But if you're an older adult looking at this, don't get discouraged. Remember, many times these guys are not natural. And so just because a 15-year-old is stronger or has more muscle than you, don't give up. Don't compare yourself to other people. I don't care if they're older, younger, taller, shorter. Simply compare yourself to yourself. Don't worry about how strong someone else is or how they look. Compare yourself to yourself. I'm currently running a push-pull legs times Arnold split with a rest day at the end. So I hit legs once a week, but each week I go hard on either quad focused or hamstring focus. Since I'm only hitting legs once a week, they tend to be Tom Platz style leg days with loads of volume and intensity. All right, so the first problem is you're only training legs once a week, but you're training your upper body twice a week. And if I compare your upper body to your upper body is significantly more developed than your lower. In particular, you said your hamstrings aren't as developed. Well, why do you think that's the case? You're not training them nearly enough. And think of it, you're in your first year of training, you're training Tom Platz style. Tom Platz, a professional bodybuilder with decades of training experience, he went from being a beginner to an intermediate to an advanced to an ultra advanced trainer. And so you're 15 years of age, you're going to start off with Tom Platz's ultra advanced training style. Does that make sense? And so what you're doing is you're overtraining your legs and doing it only once a week, which is negatively impacting your gains. Sure, you're making some gains because you're a newbie, because anything's going to work. But imagine if you trained your legs twice a week. That's double the opportunities for growth. And remember, you stimulate a muscle, you do not annihilate it. And you'll in fact make greater gains by doing half the volume, half the intensity. And if you're training like Tom Platz, you're going to actually make more gains by training with lower volume and lower intensity. And the reason for that is because your body cannot recover from all this training volume, training intensity. It's simply too much. Your muscles don't grow while training in the gym. They grow while recovering after. And so imagine this analogy. You have a cement fence. And what you do is you crack this cement fence with a hammer. Slight cracks, little cracks everywhere. And then you come along after that and you put cement over everything. And it dries, and then you repeat the process. Over the course of months and or years, that wall is going to get bigger. Versus here's what you're doing. You're walking up to the wall with a sledgehammer, breaking it down, and starting from scratch. You're doing too much. You need to slow it down. You're a beginner. Perhaps intermediate, you've been training for a year, but how are you going to progressive overload if you've already progressed to training like Tom Platz? Chest, flat barbell bench, 3 sets of 8. Heavy weight plus have a spotter help with going past failure. Incline dumbbell bench, 3 sets of 8. And so he has under a year's training and he's doing a heavy weight for 8 reps, going to failure and beyond, doing forced reps. It's too much. You're training too hard. And so we're doing 12 hard sets of chest, many of which going past failure. That's more than twice what you need. In fact, 3 or 4 times more than you need. You literally could have stopped at the bench press, done half the sets, and still done enough. You're literally training with more volume and more intensity than myself, and I'm a 47-year-old bodybuilder, been a professional for years, and I'm not even natural, I'm on HRT. Shoulders, 3 sets of 10, followed by seated lateral raises, 3 sets of 10 with drop sets each set, and then rear delt cable flies, 3 sets of 8 to 10. And so we already have 9 sets for shoulders, 3 of which are drop sets. That is a lot. For triceps, 9 sets, and that's after doing a lot of pushing on the bench press and on the shoulders, so your triceps are already pre-fatigued. And so triceps also way too much. I would do approximately half of what you're doing. And deadlifts, 3 sets of 5. Are we powerlifting? You're 15 years of age. Sets of 5 is too heavy. Focus on time under tension. TUT. 5 reps is too heavy, it's too low reps. You should add in more reps, not ego lift when doing deadlifts. And following all that back work, he does 9 sets of biceps. Remember, this kid's training hard. And in addition to that, 6 sets for the forearms. That's a lot, even for a professional bodybuilder. This would be a very tough and challenging workout. But he's only 15 and hopefully natural. Followed up by 3 sets of either Bulgarian split squats or barbell walking squats. And no, we're not done yet. And then 3 sets of leg extensions. And these are done to failure and beyond, as in how Tom Platz does it. Have you seen how hard Tom Platz trains? 1 set like that, just 1, that is enough. And this is having already done 6 hard sets of legs. And he's still not done. He then ends this with 3 sets of calves, and that's the quad focus day. He also has a hamstring focus day. And so why not combine quad and hamstring focus, train them both on the same day, do way less volume, way less intensity, train it twice a week. You'll make significantly more gains. I'd argue at least 50% more gains by training your legs twice a week than only training them once. Do it less volume, less intensity, and progressive overload. Take your time over time. And I don't have the time to go over every day he trains. He trains 6 days a week in the gym, but you get the gist of it. He's training too hard, too much volume. He's overtraining. Do not take roids, whatever you do, not worth losing your money. It's not about the money. Imagine if money was the biggest concern. And frankly, with 1 year of training at the age of 15, most people, even with performance-enhancing drugs, will not look nearly this good. LOL, yeah, I'm staying natural, especially because I'm not competing or anything like that. There is no desire. And so I certainly hope this to be the case. And frankly, if he is in fact 100% natural and looks like this, probably more like 1 in 10,000, perhaps 1 in 100,000 people could look this good at 15 with only 1 year of training. I know it can seem hard to do, but slowly add on more size. Also, slow down on the energy drinks. Take it from someone who drank them from the time Red Bull first came out. 1 or 2 a week is fine, but please stop. And my advice, don't even drink one. Don't drink any. You don't need it. Teenagers age 15, you should be able to make it through a workout. You have tons of energy. And if you actually need an energy drink, a pre-workout at only 15, probably because you're not eating enough. And so let's go to the root of the problem. Let's not put on a Band-Aid fix. Oh, I have no energy. I'm not eating enough. My testosterone levels are down. I'll just bang down an energy drink loaded in caffeine. That's not the way. You eat more, eat a healthy, well-balanced diet, hopefully from all 4 food groups, and see what your gains will be. You likely make even more gains without the energy drink, and in fact, feel better, sleep better, and so on. My only advice to be mindful of injuries so you don't have to take any extended time off. Most of my injuries originated from my teens. Otherwise, it looks like you're kicking ass. And that is great advice. And you know how he's going to end up getting hurt? Training too heavy, ego lifting, doing sets of 5 deadlifts, doing low rep sets under 10, chasing numbers, chasing the gains, growing so fast while having low body fat levels. That is conducive to allowing for an injury. And so rather than that, lighten the weights, increase reps, time under tension, focus on mind-muscle connection. You're only 15. Slowly, over time, progressive overload. And I'm certain you're going to have an amazing physique. He already looks incredible, but please slow it down. And reminder, do not compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to yourselves. Looking for a free diet and training program, please click the link in the description. Enter your first and last name and email address going right straight to you. Remember, teenagers, you shouldn't buy any of these supplements. You don't need any of them. Just go to the gym and train. If you're in your 20s, you want to get supplements, support the channel, of course, head over to my website, code Greg, 10% off. Also have a harder than last time clothing line. It's not just tank tops, it's also hoodies, t-shirts, jogging pants, shorts. We got it all. Head over to the website, and of course, cookbooks, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, phone consults. Subscribe, click that bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. What do you think of the video? Like the video if you liked it. Watch one of the loops. Follow me on Instagram, Greg Doucette, I at BB Pro. And until next time, I am out.